Good evening, Bahamas. On the broadcast tonight, another man gunned down in the sixth murder in recent days. Plus, what's the future of the police commissioner? We put that question to the National Security Minister, find out what he had to say. And we take a look at the fitness craze of CrossFit that's transforming bodies and lives.
Is brought to you by Alive, the nation's newest and best LTE network.
Good to be alive.
Welcome to our news, the weekend edition, and thanks for joining us. I'm Andrew Knowles. Police investigations continuing tonight into a fatal shooting yesterday that claimed the life of another young man. It's the sixth killing in the last few days. Saturday's shooting happened at Buttonwood and Silk Cotton Streets in Pinewood Gardens shortly after 5 p.m. Chief Superintendent Clayton Flenander fills us in on the details of this latest murder.
A young man was cleaning a vehicle just in this area behind me when a small light blue vehicle pulled up. Four men exit armed with handguns and shot the male. He died on scene. The vehicle, the young man got back into the vehicle and sped off.
Fernandez says the victim is believed to be in his early 20s and that at the time they had no motive for the killing. The victim's body was removed from a small bushy area and carried away. Now a number of officers were on the scene of the busy residential area making door-to-door inquiries for any information that might help to advance their investigations. And with a string of murders occurring over the last several days, Fernandez says they're satisfied that there is no connection between the incidents.
Just an update with respect to the recent murders in the past few days. We are actively investigating those matters and following a number of lines of inquiries. Based on our investigation thus far, we don't think there's any relationship with respect to those matters. They are separate incidents that we are looking at this time.
Meantime, the chief superintendent gave this piece of advice to watch the company you keep.
If you're hanging out with a criminal, you will become a target. So I want to advise individuals, they may have family members or friends who they know that is involved in the life of crime, that you cannot be with them because you will eventually become a target.
There have been more than 70 murders for the year. 2 police officers have been placed on suspension from duty and restricted their privileges following a controversial video making the rounds on social media. The video showed the officers in uniform apparently on duty, drinking and swearing. Now, police have confirmed that disciplinary action commenced against the 2 officers this morning by Commissioner Ellison Greenslade. Both officers were given 14 days show cause letters, which allows due process and natural justice to take its course. Commissioner Greenslade will make the final decision on the fate of both officers once he receives their written responses. National Security Minister Marvin Dames has once again refused to comment on recent speculation that plans are underway to have Commissioner of Police Ellison Greenslade replaced as the head of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. It's been speculated that Greenslade has been offered the post of High Commissioner to London and will be replaced by Deputy Commissioner Tony Ferguson as Commissioner of Police. When asked for confirmation last week, Dames said he had no comment.
I continue to address this, and we're still are where we are, right? I have no comments on the matter, and that's it.
Commissioner Greenslade was appointed the 6th Commissioner of Police on January 4th, 2010, after serving as the acting Deputy Commissioner of Police from January 1st, 2009, upon completion of a 1-year secondment with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police in Canada. Dames also took part in this training in Canada when he was a member of the police force. In January 2009, Dames, then Senior Assistant Commissioner of Police, was appointed Commander for Grand Bahama. He was later promoted to Deputy Commissioner, while Commissioner Greenslade ascended to the force's top post. Dames quit the force in May of 2011 to take up a post at the Bahama Resort. He won the Mount Moriah seat in the House of Assembly in the May 10th general election. Well, a former F&M MP says he was shocked and appalled by the revelations exposed during the budget debate and says he is proud of the Minnis administration for bringing charges against those allegedly responsible for governmental corruption. Giorgio Bain reports.
Former Montague MP Richard Lightbourne says he's disappointed that some persons have aligned recent events to a political witch hunt, given recent revelations that came out during the budget debate. Lightbourne, who served as a member of the opposition in the House of Assembly from 2012 to 2017, said he was upset with himself after hearing some of the revelations brought to light during the recent budget debate. According to Lightbourne, there were many times he bit his tongue when he should have spoken out.
I was shocked and appalled, really. I really was. And in fact, I almost feel mad at myself that we didn't pursue some of these matters further. When you think of the issues that have arisen as a consequence of these revelations, it's quite frightening. $80 million spent on BAMC, and what do you see as a benefit? If you and this was it was just shrouded in secrecy. The whole from the concept.
As for claims of a witch hunt, Lightbourne says he feels that the government is simply following through with campaign promises.
Well, I certainly don't regard it as a political witch hunt. It appears that there have been some serious, there are allegations of very serious crimes having been committed. These are serious, and they need to be looked into fully by the new administration. And I don't think that it's appropriate to categorize these charges as a witch hunt. Clearly, the public is of the view that there have been major infractions by the previous administration, and they cannot be ignored by the present government and the country continue in the way that we've been going for so many years.
Lightbourne says he believes that the Minnis administration has its work cut out for it, but they have all the tools to get the job done.
I think that that type of comment is just little drama, really, quite honestly. I can't think for one second that Mr. Smith fears for his safety or whatever in this country. I can't see that is something that should concern him. In his situation, it would have. He was never charged, and I think the circumstances, as explained at the time, I would suggest the possibility of some wrongdoing.
Reporting for our News Weekend Edition, I'm Giorgio Bain.
A civil society nonpartisan task force is one tool that may help to fight corruption as the Minnis administration works to weed out malfeasance in government. Our Christina McNeil sat down with the executive director of the Organization for Responsible Governance, who explained how it would work. Here's her report.
The Organization for Responsible Governance and other members of civil society are calling for the creation of an anti-corruption task force and legislation to fight corruption at all levels of government.
Whether it be a specific anti-corruption bill or whistleblowers bill or ombudsman bill, all of these things will help to drive a culture or drive out the culture of corruption and cronyism and ensure that there's a lot clearer path and that there's transparency and accountability.
Org Executive Director Matt Aubrey tells our News that the civil society groups involved have put together a white paper on the task force in the hopes of getting it off the ground in time to make a difference.
We've sent it on to the Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, Ministers Dames of National Security, Simonette of Industry, Ellsworth Johnson, Minister of State, as well as the Attorney General, to request that they enlist these civil society groups and start to develop this task force that can help to shape it and ultimately help to set up an independent agency that exists within government to track and monitor anti-corruption activity.
This comes as several former Progressive Liberal Party members of Parliament have been questioned by police and some charged before the courts in the face of allegations of bribery and extortion. But those investigations were not without criticism from some observers who said members of the former PLP administration were being politically targeted. Aubrey says a non-partisan task force would create a partnership between civil society and government and add more integrity to the process.
Our hope is that this is taken up and as a priority on corruption is being put forward by the government, that they don't miss the opportunity to bring in appropriate and engaged and expertise of partners.
Earlier this month, Transparency International sent a letter congratulating Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis on his recent election as fourth Prime Minister of the Bahamas. In that letter, the organization pointed to 5 areas recommended for priority consideration by the new administration, including a Freedom of Information Act and a fair and open public procurement system.
These are our whistleblowers, ombudsmen, but also public procurement, looking at how do we ensure that across the board in public service and with the use of government money, that we've taken as many opportunities for corruption to happen away. That reduces culture. And then the other becomes public education and really working through that. And we feel like an independent task force, one that works in conjunction with government, would be very effective in terms of developing the right types of policies, the right timeline, as well as pushing forward to ensure that the public is appropriately informed.
Reporting for our news, I'm Christina McNeil.
Thanks, Christina. The Progressive Liberal Party has the golden opportunity to reinvent itself in the face of May's election loss, according to University of the Bahamas professor Dr. Ian Strawn. Strawn was a guest on Jerome Sawyer's On the Record, weighing in on the state of the country's official opposition.
This is it's a golden opportunity for the PLP to really reinvent itself to some extent. Not that it needs to be completely ashamed of its whole legacy, because it is the founding party, I guess you could say. But you know, a lot of the things that they need to do, they were told they should have done at the last time they lost, which is make an example, you know, get rid of some of the bad apples. Yes, they were told us before, they just won't do it, right? So they have this moment, and I hope they make the right choice.
Now, Strawn says the question is, will the PLP be prepared to present a new face to the Bahamian people? He says it may mean that they have to let some people go, including party chairman Bradley Roberts.
Roberts should have resigned on election night. He should have resigned on election night. This is a fact. So I understand that you need to have some of the old guard, some people with some institutional memory to help the institution, you know, to help the party move forward. But the PLP needs to change. And if they don't change, yes, they could be on the outside for quite a while.
The PLP was left with a small opposition of 4 in the House of Assembly after the general election. But Organization for Responsible Governance Executive Director Matt Aubrey says that there is even more reason for both the opposition and majority to redefine themselves moving forward.
You need a strong opposition to ensure that all matters are being discussed, that it's not just one-sided or one set of facts or one set of perspectives is being considered. So what the opportunity on both sides, both parties have right now, is to kind of recreate themselves.
Since its inception nearly 20 years ago, CrossFit has become a global phenomenon practiced by over 13,000 gyms. Tonight, Vonik Toot takes a look at the Bahamas-based CrossFit Potcake, which is transforming bodies and lives.
It's not a fad, it's a fitness philosophy. Branded after the U.S.-based fitness regimen created back in 2000, CrossFit Potcake is a varied high-intensity conditioning program designed to build strength and promote healthy lifestyles. Just ask Marco Mackey. His fitness journey started 3 years ago when the husband and father went for his annual physical. The results? He was overweight and on the verge of a non-communicable disease.
Doctor looked at me and right away he said, something wrong, you know, something got to be wrong with you. So after doing all the blood work and all that, he said, man, look here, you on the borderline of being a diabetic, you know, pre-diabetic.
That visit changed his life.
I said, boy, something wrong. I got a young wife, I got a young boy, I got to do something. So immediately, right after that, I went, enrolled myself into a gym. started out on my journey. Started doing my own little juicing, stopped eating bad, started eating healthy, started doing my own juicing. And
however, Mackey says 2 months later, his new fitness regimen got boring, and the fatty foods he struggled to cast aside once again became a temptation. That's when he joined CrossFit Potcake. Conducted in a small group setting, CrossFit Potcake consists of a warm-up, workout of the day, and cool-down.
So he got in the exercise regimen with us. He started CrossFit, and over a period of time, eating right, grains and lean meat and protein and stuff, understanding that it's a lifestyle journey, life changed big time.
However, Mackey warns it takes discipline.
You have to be disciplined, and the hard work, it'll come, but you have to be disciplined. I get up 4 o'clock every morning, I wake out, and it's like I say, it's history.
But he didn't just see results, he saw a chance to motivate others.
So he went from being a person that was sick to now one of my top trainers in the program.
I feel good. It's a good feeling. You want to see people do better. You want to see them live longer. So that's what drives me.
CrossFit Potcake has become such a success that this summer it spawned Lean Fit, a less intense but just as impactful program. Coach Charles Johnson says the first step is understanding what each person's goal is.
Well, in Lean Fit we talk about basically being sustainable, and there's room for everything. If people want to just look good, that's the vanity aspect of it. People want to change their lifestyle. People struggling with diseases, non-communicable diseases.
However, he warns that the journey to a healthier body doesn't end with the 5-week program.
So people tend to say, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds, I want to fit in my bikini. Could I do this program in 6 weeks and make that happen? No, you can't, right? Lifestyle requires you to, hey, make this a lifestyle journey. Summer body will be there every summer. Once you exercising every day, obviously eating right, then those things could happen.
Johnson says it also requires a commitment to making better food choices. That's where the nutritional seminars come in.
Open to the public, you could just walk. Once I say I'm having a nutritional seminar, I do Nutrition 101, where people understand it from basic ABCs of what the body needs just to survive.
Reporting for R News, I'm Vonique Toot.
Thanks, Vonique. Well, we'll take a break here, but still ahead tonight, a love story that goes beyond the lights. That story and more when our news returns.